Machines is rock and roll, it'll beat you. So you got to be willing, you know. It's an equipment wrecker. You go through equipment in machines. You definitely can get pulled. I got sucked down today, not that long, but 15 seconds or so. I got sucked down behind Mavericks.
That's Montreal river surfing pioneer Corin Addison on his favorite waves, Mavericks.
You can surf the pocket of Mavericks exactly the same way you would in the ocean. You're always driving up the line, and even though if you had to take a GPS reading, you're never actually going anywhere. You have the sensation when you're surfing Mavericks that you're constantly being chased by this pile behind you, the same way you are in the ocean. And if you get in the pile, you have to cut around the section to make it back out to the green. And the best moves are to be had right, you know, where the green meets the white, right on that steep part of the pocket where it curls and breaks. It's identical to an ocean wave, except that you can have a 10-minute ride, you know. It's rare that you have long rides on Mavericks because ultimately you make a mistake or throw you over the falls or something happens and you get beat down. But in theory, you could ride it forever. And it's my favorite river wave ever.
Addison, a former world champion kayaker and Olympic medalist, is believed to be the first to surf the river waves of Montreal.
In about 1999, I got a phone call one day. I was working at this kayak company, Riot Kayaks, and I get a phone call one day from this guy in Phoenix, Arizona, Elijah Mack. And he says, hey, you know, I'm going to go out and surf waves on a surfboard. And I thought about this for a second and I went, you're going to go surf river waves on a surfboard? That sounds really stupid. A year later, something just bit me. I was like, God, I wonder if you could surf this wave on a surfboard. Put my boat away, grabbed my board, went back out and swam out to it and tried to surf the waves. It wasn't very successful the first time. I mean, I caught the wave and surfed it, but I couldn't get back up to the wave afterwards, and it took me a long time to do it. And but I had a good time, you know, doing it. And most of the time I'd go out in my kayak, and I'd go out once a week in my board, and then it was twice a week, and then it was 3 times a week, and then it was 6 times a week, and then it was both sessions every day. And it kind of grew from there, but it started back in 2000. And ironically, it wasn't like till about 2002, 2003 that the sort of bell went off, and I was like, that's what that guy Elijah was talking about. Huh, this shit's really fun. But as far as I know, I was the first person to surf a river wave in Montreal on my surfboard, and I had it all to myself.
Addison acknowledges that his surf school is part of the reason that there are no more empty waves in Montreal. But he believes To Imagine Surf School can't be solely to blame for the explosion in river surfing in Quebec.
Quebec has a sort of ingrown surf culture. It sounds strange, but actually in soft goods sales, so things like board shorts, bikinis, clothing of surf brand, it's number 3 in North America after California and Florida. Actually, Florida and California. So you could buy any brand bikini, but Quebecois buy surf brands. You could buy any brand of shorts, but Quebecois buy surf brands. Same thing with t-shirts. Quebec is in love with the concept of surfing. We've just never had a beach. So as soon as it became known that there was a wave to surf, it was an instant explosion of popularity. Things that we used to do, for example, go down to the wave with just the 2 of us, and when she was just learning, I would stand on the wave and I'd have an hour-and-a-half long ride, and Andrea would do 6 runs. She would come off the wave, swim to shore, go back up, come down the wave, I'd go over to the side, chill out there, she'd surf the wave for 10 minutes, eventually fall, go off the wave. By the time she got back up, I'd had my ride, my 10-minute ride, I'd move over to the side and she'd do that again. Those days are gone. Now you take a 2-minute ride, there's 30 people going, get off the bloody wave! But hey, that's popularity, you know. You go to a ski area on a Sunday, you know, you're going to wait 20 minutes in line for the lift, you know. Any sport that's popular, you're going to wait in line, and that's just, we're victims of our own success.